Welcome to Pete and Hannah's Watch List. I'm your host, Pete Mitchell. I'm here with my great co-host, Hannah.
Hello, people.
Hannah, we're here today for AFI Top 100
That's
10-year revisited. But before we begin, let us tell the viewers and the listeners what they should do.
Could you pretty please leave a like and subscribe to the channel?
Subscribe.
Leave a comment down below your feedback on the show, your thoughts, questions, comments, queries, all that jazz. Leave them down in the comments below.
Hit the notification button and you'll get great content like this one, including What's Next, the show where we help you figure out what to watch next. This week, Accountant 2.
Oh, bang.
We also did Movie News, where we cover all things movies. But also, we interrupt regular programming for a Last of Us Season 2, Episode 3 recap.
Wow, what a show.
Yeah, what a show. Hannah. Today's show is all about AFI Top 100, 10-year revisited. And today it is movie number 29, Double Indemnity. Have you seen that movie before, Hannah?
Never.
Where did we, yes, I had seen it. It used to play regularly on daytime television. Where did we watch it? We rented it on Apple TV.
Apple. Yeah.
In Australia, you can get it on Binge. Does anyone have Binge anymore?
No. It's a dying service.
It's available on Universal Services.
Yeah.
So it was a Paramount production, but Paramount sold all their TV rights to Universal people.
Yep.
And so Universal have the rights for like home video and streaming.
Oh, there you go.
The elevator pitch for this movie. An insurance salesman meets a wife of a guy.
Oh, like a desperate housewife.
Desperate housewife.
Fleeing for freedom.
A femme fatale.
Yeah.
And they come up with this convoluted plan to get the insurance money.
Yeah.
From a accidental death. This movie was released on July 3rd, 1944. It was directed by Billy Wilder. We've had Billy before.
Yeah, we have, though.
The Apartment. Screenplay was Billy Wilder and Raymond Chandler. It's based by the book by James M. Cain. Produced by Joseph Sistrom, uncredited. Stars Fred McMurray, which he's been on the list as well. He was on In the Apartment.
Yep.
Barbara Stanwyck.
Yes.
Famous actress. And Edward G. Robinson. You know who he is. He was like the big gangster guy. He was a gangster actor. As I said, production company was Paramount Pictures. Music was by Miklos Rozar. Running time was 107 minutes. And yeah.
Yeah.
Had a $900K budget. Box office didn't it wasn't outstanding. Did a couple of million, but it wasn't in the top 10 of that year. You had Bathing Beauty. To have not Hollywood Canteen, a guy named Joe, The White Cliffs of Dover,
Depression,
The Story of Dr. Wussel, 30 Seconds Over Tokyo. You get a lot of World War II movies. Since You Went Away, Meet Me in St. Louis, and Going My Way.
Going My Way is also, but Meet Me in St. Louis is one of the best movies. You know, it's one of those movies that I wish was on this list.
Love that from you.
Yeah. Because I want a Vince Minnelli movie on this list.
It's a great Easter movie. Someone said.
It's not, but whatever.
So this movie is based on a book by James M. Cain, I said before. And his novella, Double Indemnity, was based on a murder perpetrated by Ruth Schneider, married to Albert Schneider, and her lover, Henry Judd Gray, who concluded with an insurance agent to obtain a $45,000 policy with double indemnity and cause without the Albert's knowledge and then have him murdered. Cain had become a popular crime novelist following the publication of The Postman Always Rings Twice, also a movie that was well known in 1934. Double Indemnity began making the rounds in Hollywood shortly after it was serialized into Liberty magazine in 1936.
There you go.
Metro MGM, Metro Goldwyn Mayer, Warner Brothers, Paramount, RKO Pictures, and Columbia all competed over the rights, but the further ended when Hayes office censor Joseph Breen warned in a letter to studios that it wouldn't work.
Nope.
In Cain's, so Cain wrote who was unauthorized with the two others, three of the kind. Paramount Joseph Sistrom bought the rights for $15,000, envisioning Billy Ryder as the director of an adaptation. Paramount resubmitted the novella to the Hayes office and got an identical response as for 7 years later. Paramount then submitted a partial screenplay to the Hayes office. It was approved. 3 objections about portraying the disposal of a corpse, the gas chamber execution scene, which we're going to talk about, and the skippiness of the towel worn by the female lead. Kane felt Joseph Breen owed him $10,000 for vetoing the purchase of a property for $25,000 in 1936.
Yeah.
Kane later admitted that if he had come up with the same solutions as the plot that the screenwriters Billy Wilder and Raymond Chandler, he would have employed them in his original. So in the original novella, there was like a lot of plot holes. So Billy Wilder and Raymond Chandler had to work on it together.
Yeah.
To
people would question it
while
they're watching the movie.
Yeah. So when this movie went into production, so Billy Wilder was the first choice. The first choice for writer was Raymond Chandler. I'm the provisor of Sistrom, who in 1939 had The Big Sleep. He wrote The Big Sleep.
Okay,
yeah. So that is a huge Humphrey Bogart movie. New to Hollywood, Chandler demanded $1,000 or at least 1 week to complete the screenplay, not realizing that he would be paid $750 per week and that it may take 14 weeks. Wasn't really thinking.
Nope.
While Wilder characterized Chandler's first draft as useless camera instruction. So to teach Chandler screenwriting, Wilder gave him a copy of a script of Hold Back the Dawn.
Oh.
They did not get along during the next 4 months. Chandler quit once, submitting to a long list of grievances about Wilder. Wilder notoriously didn't get along with writers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
So a lot of these... So we talked about the Hayes Code before.
Yes.
Brought it in the 30s. So everything had to be approved by this code. So this is not the only time this story happened where Hitchcock used to do this. He used to put it in a little screenplay and then make slight changes and then sort of force it through. So there's
force the hand of it,
especially when he was doing Psycho.
Oh yeah, he would have had to get around all that for his movie. 100%.
Okay, so Sistrom and Wilder wanted Barbara Stanwyck to play Phyllis Dixon. She was the highest paid actress in America. Stanwyck being from... she was reluctant to play the femme fatale, fearing that it would have an adverse effect on her career. She recalled being a little afraid. A little afraid. A little afraid. She was grateful for his encouragement that Wilder said that, you're an actress. This is you should do this. You should do this. Alan Ladd, which we had in Shane, James Cagney, which we had in Yankee Doodle Dandy. Yeah. Spencer Tracy, Gregory Peck were all thought of the role. I think Gregory Peck would have been amazing in the role of Fred McMurray.
I get that, but
I think he would have been great.
It's one of those roles where I just wouldn't see him.
But they all passed on the role.
Yeah.
So, the bottom... Wilder scraped the bottom of the barrel and approached George Raft. Since Raft did not read scripts, was the last series of films Raft declined, which turned out to be classics. Wheeler realized that the part needed someone who could play a cynic and a nice guy simultaneously. Fred McMurray was accustomed to the happy-go-lucky comedies. He was the highest paid actor in Hollywood. When Wilder approached him about the role, McMurray said, you're making the mistake of your life. He felt that he lacked the skill for a serious part, but Wilder pestered the actor and he relented. McMurray felt Paramount would never let him play a wrong guy role, because of the studio having crafted his image perfectly. Back in the days.
I know exactly.
It counted as an unsavory role.
It was, yeah.
But during negotiations for his contract, McMurray's success in the role came as a surprise to both him and Paramount, and later called he never dreamed of it being a best picture that he ever made, but it was. Edward G. Robinson was reluctant to play the role because he didn't want to become the third banana, but then he realised that was a part of he was up at his career.
Yeah.
At my age, it was time to start thinking his character side, and yeah, that's what he got.
Yeah.
Filming began in September 27, 1943, and John F. Seitz was the premier director of photography at Paramount, having worked there since the silent era. Seitz was nominated for an Academy Award for Wilder's Five Greys to Cairo.
No.
The director praised Seitz for his willingness to experiment. They gave a look of reminiscent of German expressions and cinema. So, yeah. Wilder. He is an amazing director. He's loved by actors. Some Like It Hot, The Apartment, this movie. I wasn't a huge fan of The Apartment. I just wasn't.
Yeah.
But I am much more, I see where they see, like, this is a stylized version.
And Some Like It Hot, like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this is a stylized version of a thriller trash movie. It is the original thriller trash, isn't it?
Yeah, I think recently we got this, and then we had not long ago the Maltese Falcon, which when it comes to thriller trash, like, this is what you're talking about, where you have double crossing and you have things that come out.
Well, this walked so Basic Instinct and all those movies could run.
Yeah, with the I guess the sex appeal of it, because that's what this movie has. It's that femme fatale, like, completely mesmerizing you to forget.
Yeah.
Oh, these are the bad guys. Like, they're not. We shouldn't be trusting them. We shouldn't be on their side. They're doing the wrong. But you're so in tune with their case right now.
Yeah. Oh, 100%, Hannah. So you had Fred MacMurray, you had Barbara Stanwyck. Barbara Stanwyck started in another thriller trash movie, and it was called, I'm just looking it up now, Sorry, Wrong Number.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
And it was...
Right?
Someone, like, basically gaslighting her. And, mate, that is a really good thriller trash movie as well. You got the Lady E, Ball of Fire. Man, she was like... She was
the name, yeah.
Yeah, she was like an it actress, wasn't she?
Yep. Definitely for a time, yeah.
She was.
She was peak.
She was peak, wasn't she? She was so peak. Fred MacMurray, like, we talked about it when we did The Apartment, but, like, he had, like, an amazing television career as well. Like, he did My Three Sons, which was just huge. But yeah, he was one of the highest paid actresses at the time.
Yeah.
Okay, Hen. Critics love this movie.
Do they now?
So some of the reviews, right? So back in 1944, in many ways, Double Indemnity is really quite a gratifying and even a good movie. Essentially cheap, I'll grant you, but smart, crisp, and cruel. This was from New York Times, New York Herald, Howard Barnes. One of the most vital and arresting films of the year, praising Wilder's magnificent direction and a whole lot of script. Sets a new standard for screen treatment in its category.
Yeah.
Radio host at the time, Luella Parsons, said Double Indemnity is the finest of its kind ever made. Finest picture of its kind ever made.
Oh, well, yeah.
And I make the flat-out statement without any fear of getting indigestion later from my eating my words. This movie is fantastic. The Brooklyn Eagle was highly complimentary. Besides MacMurray, who shows up as a top-flight dramatic actor in a role, is a new type for him. Miss Stanwyck, who has never been more striking in performance. Double Indemnity has a third standout star with Edward G. Robinson in the best role in many of the film. By the way, there's no need to warn teenagers away from this. They couldn't they wouldn't skip it in any case. And besides, WWE makes it clear that murder doesn't pay, which is really important. And the insurance company doesn't play without sharp investigation.
They're serious.
Yeah.
They're serious guys. They literally have someone that investigates it better than the cops do. They have a bloodhound basically on their staff working for them to make sure, losers ain't getting money if they.
I just love that from losers ain't getting money.
Yeah, you want to try and you want to fool, you can fool the police all you want, but you are not fooling the insurance company.
I love that.
That's the whole plot of the movie, is that they were more afraid of the guy that worked at the insurance company than they were of the police.
Yeah.
That's one broke system, but in this movie it works.
Yep. Okay, so this movie... film critic Pauline Kael also wrote about this movie.
Yeah.
She said it was shrewd, smoothly tolerated thriller, is one of the highest points of 40s film. We love Pauline Kael on this list. Okay, so Academy Awards nominated. It was actually nominated for 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Actress in a Leading Role for Barbara Stanwyck, Best Director for Billy Wilder, Best Writing... Best Cinematography, Black and White, Best Sound Recording, and Best Music Score of a Dramatic or Comedy Picture. This movie did not win one. Okay, so this film was nominated for all those awards, but lost out to Going My Way. Yeah. Bill Wilder was so seriously annoyed at Leo McCarey's sweep when McCarey was named for Best Director. Wiley stuck his foot out and went to trip him.
Well, that's petty.
Wilder would get his revenge the following year when he won for the Wasp weekend, winning 4 Oscars. Yeah, beating out McCarey, who did The Bells of St. Mary's.
See, and that's a bigger movie than his. Anyway, that's anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
You could say you could fight maybe he shouldn't have won that year, but then the next
reaction to this film recently: Letterboxd 4.3.
Yeah.
IMDb 8.3 and Rotten Tomatoes 97. It's one of the favourites. In the early 70s, Paramount Pictures tried to make a remake of this movie with Robert Redford in the Fred McMurray role. I think it would have been good.
I could see it.
Yeah, I can see that. The project never got off the ground, but they did make a telly movie starring Richard Crenna. And Richard Crenna was the Army colonel, major, that looked after Rambo.
Yeah, okay.
So the great Richard Crenna. He also played that role in Hot Shots Part 2.
Okay.
Great movie. Okay. Every week,
Thursday.
every Thursday, but not this week. We did it on Wednesday. We do a segment called Hottie Hot Take. Click bait.
Hoo-ha.
Hannah, your Hottie Hot Take for this movie?
I like it when sometimes we root for the bad guys in movies. A lot of the time, especially recently, I feel like we root for bad guys more than good guys. And I like it if they don't win. Sometimes it's actually we've got to put our foot down, and that there can't be any winners here. Because honestly, everyone lost because the guy also got cheated out. He never really fully got to solve the investigation himself.
Yep.
Which that would irk you. That would irk you if your whole job is that. I mean, he got close.
Work anyone.
He got close, but he never could figure it out. But yeah, no, you do bad and you don't win, and I think that's a better moral than some kids movies nowadays. I cannot believe that this movie I thought I wouldn't enjoy. Sometimes I like people getting away with it. It happens a lot of the time. But this movie was no. They did something bad. They're not getting away with it.
They ain't getting away with
no
nothing.
one wins. No one wins. And I think I love the petty nature because at the end, they could have gotten away. Yeah. But he didn't win. So he's like, no one's winning.
Yeah.
He's like, no one's winning. If I'm not winning, we're all going down kind of thing. And I like that petty nature. Respect. And yeah, I like it when the bad guy doesn't win.
Yep.
In a sense that even though we're rooting for them in a weird way. We're on their side, I guess.
I think
like it.
My hottie hot take is, I think if you put another actor in this role, I think Jimmy Stewart, in this role, I think it's it is
Yeah.
so much better movie.
So the problem with it, yeah, you said Jimmy Stewart. Jimmy Stewart would never take a role like this.
No,
And that's the thing, that this character, this guy, he's so unlikable.
But I think that's what you need. You need a like.
You needed the most likable guy in town. Jimmy Stewart. You said Gregory Peck. You know, like we're talking about, they were true like pillars of like justice in movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like they would never be the bad guy.
Yeah.
They would never like in a million years be the guy that is, you know, having an affair with a married woman and then helping her commit a crime. Like that's not the type of characters they portrayed in movies.
Yeah.
And yeah, you needed that good guy. And I think, well, you got someone to do it.
I just don't think he's a very good actor. I didn't like him in An Apartment. I don't like him in this either.
Strong.
No.
He's not strong enough.
Think Barbara Stanwyck absolutely.
I will say his voiceover, because like the whole thing of this movie where he's telling the story works great. Worked great. But then when he's acting with Barbara Streisand, you're like, I don't know if he could pull her.
Yeah.
It's one of those like, does he pull her?
Barbara Stanwyck
you could
is
say
just
she's
amazing in this movie.
You could say she's pulling the entire strings of the event because you know, as the movie unfolds, you learn more and more about her.
She's absolutely brilliant in this movie.
Yeah, she's
Edward G. Robertson, like I know he is playing the sort of like that sort of type, like he did Key Largo with Humphrey Bogart and stuff like that. But I think he's great in this movie as well. I think he adds that little bit of comedic value as well. Like he's a little bit funny in this movie. So anyway.
Yeah.
Let's go on to Pete and Hannah's review
of this movie.
Okay, so this movie's broken up into 4 different sections, right? You get the introduction of Fred McMurray as Walter Neff. Mm-hmm. He's telling the story. Now, I don't know how many times this has been done before, like the voiceover, but it gets done a lot now where you start at one point and you go through. Probably back then it was probably groundbreaking, but we've seen this so many times, haven't we? So he's telling the story. So that's section 1. Section 2 is where they meet and they plan. So they meet and they plan. Section 3 is them committing the crime, and then section 4 is the fallout from the committing of the crime.
Yes.
So that's how I'm breaking this movie
structures itself. Yes.
So the key part of this is when Phyllis, which is played by Barbara Stanwyck, and Walter Neff, who's played by Fred McMurray, it's when they meet, right? This is the key point, right?
He goes there just to check on a guy's car insurance.
So this is, I'm going to sort of read out this scene, right? And this is actually really well written.
Oh,
and
I would say the writing in this movie is
amazing.
Quite excellent.
Yeah. Okay, so we know Billy Wilder's screenplay. Unbelievable, right? And Raymond Chandler, he did Big Sleep, Strangers on the Train. Like, he did some great stuff as well.
Strangers on the Train in this movie, yeah.
Yeah. They're like sister pairing, hey? Like, you know, like Billy Wilder wrote The Apartment, Some Like It Hot, Sabrina, Sunset Boulevard. Sunset Boulevard comes up in a lot of this because you
mean the voiceover thing?
Yeah, and the director of photography, he did that movie.
Yeah.
The music for this movie, he did Ben-Hur. So the music for this movie is on point.
Yes.
So I want to read out this scene because it's really important. Mr. Neff, why don't you drop by tomorrow evening about 8:30? He'll be in then. And Walter Neff goes, who? And then Phyllis goes, my husband. You were anxious to talk to him, weren't you? And Walter Neff goes, yeah, I was, but I'm sort of getting over that idea, if you know what I mean. Like, the flirting was just, like, you know, Phyllis goes, there's a speed limit in this state. Mr. Neff, 45 miles an hour. Walter Neff, how fast I was going, officer? And she goes, around 90. Suppose you get down off your motorcycle and give me a ticket. Suppose I let you off the warning this time. Suppose it doesn't take. Suppose I whack you over the knuckles. Suppose I bust out crying and put my head on your shoulder. Suppose you try putting it on my husband's shoulder. That tears it then. Like, it's just pure.
Yeah.
Pure, just like absolute flirting. Just unbelievable. And the next one I want to talk about is the relationship between Barton Keyes, played by Edward G. Robinson, and Neff, right? And so they go to this meeting. So you get the interaction, the planning of the crime, and then you get them looking into the crime. The planning of the crime, like it's actually quite a well put together crime.
No, because he really
thought about it.
In a sense that maybe he had this all along.
Yeah.
Like he could... Yeah. I guess when you work so many of these types of cases, you know the faults in what went wrong.
She dragged him. She sort of put the idea in him, but he ran with it, didn't he? He really did run with it.
Like, because he wanted to show he can prove himself. Yeah. Like, maybe he got bored with insurance. Yeah. Maybe he did.
So, we'll point some holes in the plan, but one of the things with when they went to start the car, and it was like really like tense, and the car wasn't going to start, and the whole plan was going to...
Yeah.
That actually happened to Billy Wilder on the day he was going to shoot that scene, and he put that in because it added the tension.
It added the tension.
But he thought of everything, Neff, right? And it just didn't work out the way he wanted because Barton Keyes was the change. And so Barton Keyes tells the story at the start of the movie when him and Neff are just chatting together. The little man inside thinks that this is dodgy.
Yeah, because he's a...
Because they're talking about another case first, and then it comes on to this one. But so Barton Keyes goes, and so they're having a meeting with the chief executive or the head writer of the insurance policies.
Yeah.
And he goes...
Keys is the bloodhound,
by
the way.
You ought to take a look at the statistics on suicide sometime. You might want to learn something about the insurance business. Edward S. Norton goes, Mr. Keyes, I was raised in the insurance business. And Barton Keyes goes, yeah, in the front office. Come now. You've never read an actual table in your life, have you? Why, they've got 10 volumes of suicide alone. Suicide by race, by colour, by occupation, by sex, by seasons of the year, by the time of day. Suicide, how committed, by poison, by firearms, by drowning, by leaps, by suicide, by poison, by subdivided, by types of poison, by corrosive, by irritant. Like, he just keeps listing it, and he's trying to put this guy down, and he still hasn't got there, because, like... This Edward Norton doesn't want to pay out. He doesn't want to pay out $100,000 because it's double, right?
Insurance companies do not want to pay out.
But he hasn't got that. And then he goes to sleep, and then he wakes up, and then he's got that thing, and then he's working. Norton, is saying that Niff's on charge of this, and Keyes say no, he's not a part of this. Another great scene is where Neff says to... Barton Keyes, you know why you couldn't figure this one out, Keyes? I'll tell you. Because the guy you were looking for was too close. Right across from the desk from you. Closer than that, Walter. I love you too. Like, it's just that those two together, that was like a little bit of a buddy cop sort of thing.
Yeah, it was... and that's how he knew he could trick him. I don't know, it just works so well in this movie. You have this camaraderie, and then he has to pretend to be it. Because he's just doing it for a woman.
So he's falling in love with this woman. He comes up with this plan to sell the insurance.
To get her out of her loveless marriage, to get the insurance so that, they can ride off into the sunset together.
He puts the thing in place. Like, he thinks of everything. Because he's thinking like Barton Keyes would.
Yes, because he's worked with him for so many years. And then he's like, I know what he can and cannot see, but I know as soon as he's got his teeth in it, we have to somehow pry it open and get it out.
So then they perpetrate the crime. So he chokes the guy out.
Yep.
Chokes Mr. Dietrich out. You never know his first name. It's always Mr. Dietrich. And then she gets him on the thing. He's pretending to be hobbled. He gets on the train. He speaks to that guy from Oregon.
Yep.
Which is a key point. And he's like in the office when
comes in later. He's
Neff,
one of the witnesses.
Yeah. And like Keyes does check out Neff. But Neff's thought of everything. Like, he's thought of an alibi for himself at the office. He's thought of an alibi himself at his apartment.
And the biggest thing was the witness, knew that it was a young guy portraying what is supposed to be an old guy.
Yeah, in his 50s.
But, he's still, he can still somehow get out of it.
Yeah. And then, so it all starts falling apart because he's, putting a lot of pressure on Dietrichson. and Neff is trying to still talk to her, but then Dickinson is trying to set up another guy,
as well as
Nino Zacchetti, which is played by Byron Barr, and who is sort of going out with the daughter, who is played by Jean Heather, Lola, who is very attractive,
and also Lola, who has always been suspicious of her stepmother.
Yep, of course,
because
she's the evil stepmother.
The way this her mother died was the stepmother was the nurse.
Yeah, 100%.
And it didn't end well for her mother, and she thinks that she may have played a role in this too.
Mm-hmm. So she starts seeing Neff, and
Neff is using her to calm her down because she's gonna blow and spill some secrets.
He's still trying to work out a way he can get Dickinson because he wants to love her.
Because his thought process now is that they can't really pin anything.
Yeah.
So if you let it die down, eventually there's nothing they can do.
Don't sue, whatever you do, and she does sue because she wants the money, and so she.
Because,
she starts
getting away with
Nino,
getting away with murder wasn't enough.
she starts playing this Nino guy. She doesn't want to be controlled by any guy, So she started to work with this Nino guy, and then obviously she's talking about. She'll be telling stories about Neff. Neff's doing all these things. Neff seeing Lola, all these stuff.
Tricking.
And so it comes to a point where Neff and Dickinson meet. It has a massive falling out. She goes to shoot him. She shoots him, and then he shoots her. And then she dies. And then he goes to the insurance office and then does a confession on the tape.
The confession.
In the original screenplay, the original book, he ends up in the gas chamber. So
you get to see that event.
Billy Wilder actually filmed this. So the screenplay ends with Keyes watching Neff's execution in the gas chamber. Wilder shot the scene from Neff's perspective, looking out of the gas chamber on Keyes. Wilder shot for 5 days, spent $150,000 on the scene, which he felt was one of the best he ever directed. Production stills of the scene still exist, and the footage may be still in Paramount's vaults. However, the director ultimately decided to end the film with Keyes and Neff on the floor of the insurance office.
Building, yeah.
You couldn't have more meaningful scene between two men. The story was between these two guys. Chandler objected to the change. Joseph Breen felt the execution was unduly gruesome. So that's in the end they changed it to get the movie through.
Yeah, I would say that watching the bad guy, watching that would have been maybe too much.
It's just two friends that went down two different paths.
Yeah,
and
like
I can see why you would want that scene, but this scene's pretty good.
Yeah, no,
even though Fred McMurray totally
because it leaves it.
Well, compared to Edgar G. Robinson, he was great in this,
and it leaves it with either he died out bleeding or he did make it to the gas chamber. It doesn't matter. It was over from that moment, and you didn't need to have anything more because one, too dark.
Yeah.
But also it's just the confession happened. He lost his friend, and he thought he was going to get the girl. He didn't really care about the money, but he thought he was going to get the girl.
Yeah,
and then
he
lays out.
And you can't see Barbara Stanwyck. Oh my god, those glasses that she wears in the shop.
Oh yeah,
damn.
Man,
God, she look good.
Yeah.
Okay, reasons to see this movie. 1, the direction. 2, the style of this movie. The music is fantastic in this movie. It's great thriller thrash music.
Watching the initial murder and is really like the way they play it out. You're like, that's clever.
Yeah, it is clever.
It is pretty clever.
Reason not to. Fred McMurray's performance, diabolical.
I'd say it's quite slow at the start. Like very slow. I know we're trying to get to
Think of the chemistry between McMurray and Barbara Stanwyck.
I think she has a lot of chemistry.
She has a lot of chemistry with everyone, doesn't she? God,
it's that Emily Blunt effect, like you could have chemistry with a rock.
The Rock.
But the whole thing of, she's exuding a lot, so you don't need to. Yeah, it sucks because I wouldn't say Fred McMurray is bad. I'm just saying this is an interestingly divisive character, and I don't know if he pulls off it enough.
Do you think if they
I don't think anyone does it.
They would try to make the guy a bit more likable.
No, they would actually make it worse.
Oh,
Because
I'll be there.
Nowadays, that's what I'm saying with movies nowadays, is that they let the bad guys win, even though we shouldn't be rooting for them.
Yeah, true.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, this movie is like, no, cheaters never prosper.
I don't know. Maybe they make him a good guy. I don't know.
Yeah, like a good guy that screws her over in the end, but I don't know. It's just not. It's this works. You know, kind of the dark. You know, he was playing with fire and he got burnt.
I kind of want him to get it with Lola. I really like
No,
Lola.
because
I
once
like
she
Lola.
was so young
She's
to
so pretty.
him.
I like her. Does this movie deserve to be on the list? I think it does. I think it's way too high.
I think it's so high.
Yeah.
But take off apartment, put this. You can keep this one on.
Yeah, I think this is way
Swap
better.
Swap it out with an apartment. And
I did not
take
like it.
apartment off.
I would 100% like a restored copy of this movie. I think
You
this
mean
movie.
the cut?
Yeah, one, I wouldn't mind the cut, but two, I would just this is a good movie. This is one I could watch.
Yeah, when you say it's like the blueprint of like a Basic Instinct, yeah, it is, because you need it. It's that sex appeal thriller, that one where you're just like, it's crazy, like what's happening, like crazy. But
Crazy.
You're there for the ride. You want to see how it plays out. The story is interesting. The writing is so witty in this movie,
So
like
witty.
really well done.
Yeah.
I do love the voiceover. Really works because. Yeah, he's playing out the story, and you're still learning new information each time, and it's so interesting.
Definitely would watch this again. Rating for this one? This is a banger for me. I really liked it.
Yeah.
I did.
Okay.
It's my top movie. That is it for today's show. Next week, all about Eve.
Talk about
Bette Davis.
Yes, talk
Love
about
it.
movie.
You can run that one next week.
No,
You can run scene breakdown.
Maybe we
You can run
maybe.
scene breakdown. Don't forget to leave feedback, good or bad. Special edition of the show tomorrow. We're doing a mailbag episode, so get your mailbag. Pete and Hannah's watches
watch
at
us.
gmail.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It's good times. That is my lovely co-host Hannah.
That's me.
Long live cinema.
Yep.
Until we meet again, it's bye for now.
Bye.